Fox News, and he's got a new book titled Good Money Revolution, releasing soon. How are you, Derrick?
Hey, great. Thanks for having me, Troy. Good to be with you today.
Hey, thanks a lot, Derrick. You know, first off and foremost, where are you coming out of?
So I'm here in Dallas, Fort Worth area, a city called Arlington, Texas. It's home of the Dallas Cowboys, Texas Rangers, Six Flags. I've been here since the sixth grade, so this is home, but it's grown a lot over those years.
Very nice. So you've stayed true to your roots and you've stayed where you grew up. That's awesome. A lot of your friends still nearby with you. Do you have a lot of your high school friends? Is it like that picture perfect? Everybody wants that, right? Their best friends, children growing up together.
Yeah, everybody does want that. It's funny you say that because a memory that popped into my head just now. You remember when you're a high school senior and they take those panoramic pictures, everybody gets on those stands and they get one big picture? Well, one guy's name was Mark Albritton, Troy, and what he did was he wanted to get into the picture twice. So as you can imagine, the camera's over here, he was over here. As soon as this started to move, he jumped down, ran as fast as he could behind the stands, and he made it. And so you can see the entire group of students on this side laughing their head off because Mark's here and Mark's here.
Get out
Best
of
high school
town.
memories ever, man. It was awesome.
That's insane. Where's Mark today? Have you heard from Mark? Where is he at?
I
Not
don't know.
sure.
He's probably super successful doing something, but some of those guys, you don't ever see them until you go back to the 10-year reunion, 20-year reunion, and see how they're doing. But it'd be fun to catch up.
Texas produces a lot of amazing artists, entrepreneurs, engineers, you name it. And I'm here with you. You have a new book out. Let's talk about the book, Good Money Revolution.
Well, so I wrote the book because I had a successful career as a financial advisor, and some would say it was a well-respected, nationally known practice. And so let me take you to my hotel room. And this was in Boston at the W Hotel in July of 2019. And Troy, I was on what I was call a sabbatical. And it was about 5 days where I take every year by myself to ask myself three questions. How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? And how can I be a better business owner? And that guides me through my time. And what my strategy is it makes sense for me to take a week to focus on what it is I want. I'm going to run really fast toward the other 51 weeks out of the year. But this particular sabbatical was intriguing because I was weighing a major decision, and that was, what did I want the next chapter of my life to look like? And I began to make a list of all the things I wanted to do. And I wrote on that list, write a book, launch a podcast, speak, coach, all these things. What wasn't on the list, though, Troy, shocked me. And that was staying a financial advisor. It wasn't that I didn't like it or didn't love my clients, but I realized to take this good money message nationally and bigger than just in my local area, I would need to sell my practice, sort of put my back against the wall and work myself into this new venture to bring value to an entirely larger group of people.
Interesting. Was that around the time of your life where you were going through some sort of a growth period? I forgot where I heard it, but it's like in order for a caterpillar to die, or in order for a butterfly to spring out, a caterpillar must die. And I know it sounds a little bit, hokey maybe, but it was a lot to say about that, right? A lot of people. That's not uncommon, right? A lot of people leave out the more, what would you call it? The more career oriented things, and you had all of the podcast things that maybe you were really excited about, and the financial advisor aspect you weren't so excited about. You had to self create this excitement for you to flourish because you succeeded in the financial advising business. So it's interesting that wasn't your focus, and that turned into you being successful in this business.
Yeah, it's interesting because people ask, Derek, why did you write the book? And why I wrote the book was I meet so many people who tell me a couple things. They tell me they don't feel like they're paid what they deserve. That Sunday about 4:00 p.m., that feeling hits them like, oh no, tomorrow's Monday again. They don't feel like they're really adding value or they're helping improve their life or anybody else's life. Or I meet people who will tell me, Derek, when I grew up, I saw my mom or dad bang their fist on the table and say, if only we had more money, then we could do the things we want to do. Or they would say, there's the haves and the have-nots, and we're in the have-not family. And those bad money beliefs, Troy, can hold people back from their true earning potential and making smart money decisions to grow their net worth, but they're hesitant, they're fearful, they're scared to look foolish because they were always told they weren't good with money. And then the other piece that really bothered me was, and you may hear this as well, in culture today, there's this emerging voice that says, if you have money, then you're bad. And if you're a successful business owner or even a CEO, you're the villain in the story. You must have done something to cheat your way to the top. Now, is everybody a good person? No. Are there bad, wealthy people? Yes. But what I realized was people could either waste their breath and, as I call it, burning their brain cells on criticizing people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, or even the local business owner in your town that does very, very well. Or you could say, what can I learn from them so that I have an opportunity to become wealthy as well and do more good in my local community? That to me is a more passionate argument and one that can really help people not only grow their wealth and make more money, but really impact the change in the world that they've always wanted to have.
Very nice. Very nice. And would you ultimately credit this to a perspective shift, Derek? Is this a shift in perspective people need to have? Because it went from a perspective of jealousy, lust, to you utilizing the good components to these people. Because you're right, we like to villainize these characters who are successful, and it's like, why would you want to do that? You're not looking where you should be. There's a lot of reasons why these people are where they are. And if you feel like they're outspoken, maybe it's because there's something to that. Sometimes when you're really successful, you're confident about, you got to take the good with the bad, but you're so right about that. And it was that shift in perspective that changed, people, a lot of people live their lives in this bitterness. A lot of friends, we always have to eliminate those friends who are always like, oh, look at that guy. That guy is me right there. They just gave that job to him. But you can see clearly the guy's, clearly needs a lot of self-evaluation to take place before saying that.
It's interesting. I'll tell you a story, and this was pivotal for me as I wrote the book. I went into the office on a Saturday morning just to catch up on things, and I noticed my voicemail light was blinking. And a voice inside said, Derrick, you need to press that button because there's something there. I pressed the button. As I listened to the message, Troy, there was a woman's frantic voice on the other end of that line. And she said, Derrick, you have to call me back right away. I just bounced a check and I'm going to jail. Whoa, I've never heard that before. I quickly called her back and I said, tell me what happened. She said, Derrick, it was my mistake. I wrote a check out of my savings account, didn't have the money to move over to cover it, and it bounced. And now I'm going to jail. I said, okay, hold on. Before we go there, let's do this. I'll call you on Monday. As a courtesy, I'll help you with the bank, move the money. We'll take care of the bounced check. Don't worry about that. And you're not going to go to jail. But tell me, why do you think you're going to go to jail? And so she began to tell me a story. This is a 55-year-old woman. She said, Derrick, when I was 7 years old, I overheard a conversation from my dad. And what he had done is he had bought some school supplies for her and her siblings for school, but he had accidentally bounced the check. And the store owner called and she overheard this conversation with the owner berating her dad, saying, because you bounced this check, I'm going to send you to jail. Well, if you can imagine a 7-year-old girl, the gravity and the seriousness of that story, well, here she is almost 50 years later, and that was a trigger for her. She thought, bounce a check, go to jail. And it gave me tremendous insight, Troy, because I'd worked with this woman for about 15 years. And I'd always wondered why, when I would recommend really good investment advice that turned out really well, she was very slow to make any kind of decision, hesitant to put her money in some of those things. And what I learned was she was scared. She was scared of looking foolish. She was scared of looking embarrassed. But she knew that you make a money mistake, you're going to go to jail. And what that story taught me was, for many people listening, it may not be they're going to go to jail, but they might have been told, you're bad with money. You make really bad decisions. You're never going to have any money. And they've internalized that. And now they're 30, 40, 50 years old. And they look back and they say, why don't I have any money? Why don't I have any wealth? Why don't I be the one to make these good decisions? And it's because subconsciously they believe that they're simply not good with money. So part of my book is addressing those money beliefs and saying, look, let's take a big eraser. COVID has given us like a big reset button. And a reset button is what successful people press all the time. They're always resetting themselves to move to the next level. But so many people think that, well, I made a bad decision with money, therefore I will always make a bad decision. And that could not be further from the truth. And I want to help change people's truth that they're telling themselves.
Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You are experienced in the financial advisory business, Derrick. Can you go a little bit in depth about that? What age were you at when you were doing financial? You were selling life insurance, was things of this nature? Can you go into depth a little bit about you?
Yeah, so let me go back to
getting to where you are
college. So I
today?
squeezed 4 years into 6, and I worked my way through school and was able to get my communication degree. And I remember my dad telling me, Derrick, get your degree in something. It's a stepping stone for things yet to come. So I majored in communication, minored in marketing. I took one finance class in college, okay? So what I realized was I enjoyed giving speeches and talking and writing, but then I realized nobody really cared because nobody would hire anybody with a communication degree. And so I had to stumble into this marketing company making, bare bones money. So I was the one marketing guy in this engineering and marketing firm. And I remember vividly, this was the company where I had my paycheck bounce twice. The boss would let us know on Friday that Saturday was a work day. I got passed over for a big raise. And it was one of those moments where you ask yourself, is this where I want to be long term? And what I thought about, Troy, was I thought about my dad. My dad would always encourage me to take risk, but yet he would never take risk. And I thought this must have been a point that my dad had where he realized I can either settle for what someone else tells me my value is in the form of my paycheck, or I can put the chips on the table, I can bet on myself, and let's see how this goes. And that's what I chose to do. So working full time, I would study in the evenings, on the weekends. I got fully licensed for my financial planning practice. It took about 6 months, left there. And I thought you do all this studying and people are going to clamor to your door to want to work with you. No, pick up the phone, hang up on you, hang up. And so it was all about relationships. But I had this idea, and that was a young guy like me. What if I could get on television and on radio and help make complicated financial topics easy to understand? And so I would get to the office at 6 a.m. when the producers were at their TV stations and send a fax or an email letting them know, when you need somebody to talk about complex financial topics in an easy to understand way, call me. I did this for about 3 months. I got a call from the local Dallas station, CBS affiliate. They said, Derrick, we'd love to have you come talk about this. And I said, I'd love to do it. I love being on television, having never been on television before. So I remember vividly going home and practicing and looking in the mirror and visualizing this interview. And I could see plain as day, Troy, that when it was over, they would say to me, Derrick, you are made for television. We want to have you on a regular basis. The interview went great. The producer came up to me. She said, Derrick, we would love to have you on. You're really good on the camera. And that's what launched me being in television. And actually, it really helped launch my business in a major way because it gave me credibility. And then to couple that, and it's a key part of the book, I've always been passionate about education. So when I was in high school, there were never really any business leaders that would come to the high school and talk to the students or affirm the students. We were sort of on our own. And I thought, boy, if I was a student now, wouldn't it be nice to have a successful business person come back and affirm me for what I'm doing? And what happened is within a few months, I began to get phone calls from people, and they would say, Derrick, we want you to be our financial advisor. Well, I thought that was interesting. I was good with money and can make good money decisions for people and help them grow their wealth. But this began to happen regularly where people would call in and they would say, Derrick, we know there's a lot of advisors out there, but we want to pick you because you give back to education and we like education. And what I learned was that I was actually a commodity item, Troy, meaning people could work with any financial advisor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or in the country, but they wanted to work with me because not only were they getting good returns on their money and doing well, but they also were part of something bigger. And I call that the generosity purpose. And I now believe that, and I write about this in the book, that if you're a CPA, a real estate agent, an attorney, any type of salesperson, I mean, you're in any type of field where anybody could work with anybody, you are a commodity. And the way to decommoditize yourself and stand out is by aligning yourself with a cause that you care deeply about. So, for example, if it's clean water or human trafficking or homelessness or poverty, and you can let your customer base or your clients know that, hey, a part of all that I make and we do in this business goes to support those causes, clients will rally around. It'll actually grow your business even more because people want to be part of something bigger. But even if you don't own a business, as an individual, you can use that to fuel yourself to make more money, to say, look, I want to go make more money, get a raise and so forth, so I can give more money to the causes that really bother me.
Why is it that Leonardo DiCaprio is like the first person that I think of when you talk about this? If you see a A-lister actor, but a lot of the time you see him, a lot of his focuses are in climate change, and a lot of people respect that, love that. I don't know why, as you say that, that was just thinking I had to say that out loud. I'm just speak. That is amazing, Derek. So now I'm in financial services as well. I sell life insurance, so it's term, whole life. So everything you're saying makes sense, and you want to be always giving instead of coming off as that salesman guy. Anybody who's listening to this, if you're a salesman, you know that nobody's gonna buy from you if you come in. Hey, how you doing? Buy one get one. We're selling now. We're selling like hotcakes. No one's gonna buy from that guy today. It's you have to be. I didn't read the Gary Vee book, but a lot of people have talked about this jab, 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 right hook method of doing things. And I feel like that's sort of in line with something you're educating is part of giving instead of, give to me. People don't want it to be, for people to have trusted you to be their financial advisor. That's huge. Was this natural for you, Derek? How did you realize, was this natural? Were you always just giving, educating, and then people were like, whoa, you're a giver, Derek?
Well, one thing I realized was that money flows where value goes. And what that means is that when you are serving your customers and your clients with A plus quality service and with an A plus quality product, then when you add the giving component to that, it only makes more people want to work with you. And what it does, let me tell you a story about a guy named Dave. Dave came into my office about 10 years ago, and I could just tell something was bothering him. And I said, Dave, it's obvious there's a concern you've got. Let's talk about it. And he said, Derek, I'm just not into it anymore. I'm not wanting to go to my office anymore. And this was a guy with a successful small business, had his kids working there as well, but he just wasn't enjoying it. And I said, Dave, what if you did this? What if you took the next 6 months and you set a goal for yourself to increase sales by a certain percentage? Then you took half of that sales increase and you made a donation to a cause you deeply cared about. And he told me that he had gone on a trip with his family, and there was this village they went to overseas, and they needed a schoolhouse built. And the guide had said, it's really holding back this entire village. And he and his wife wanted to do something. So when I said that, I brought that idea back to him that wouldn't it be cool to fund that schoolhouse? So he comes back in 3 months later, 3 months early, and he looks younger. He's more invigorated. He is all in. I said, Dave, you look completely different. What's going on? He said, Derek, I was skeptical at first of what you said, but I put it into practice, talked to my wife. We let all of our customers know that going forward, our generosity purpose was that we wanted to give back to an organization they cared about. And it grew their business so much, they had a 20% sales increase just in those 3 months. They funded half of that school. Now, the point there was, here was a guy that was actually on his way out mentally, wasn't into working in his own business, but when he paired profits with a purpose and cash with a cause and meaning to his money, it completely motivated him. And let me debunk something, Troy, too. Many people think that if I give money, then I lose and the charitable organization wins. It's this lose-win mentality, okay? And what that causes is nobody wants that. Nobody wants to have less money because I gave it away. What this concept talks about is by doing this and aligning your business with a generosity purpose, you're actually making more money to then give more money away, but you just keep making more money because more people want to work with a bigger cause than what they can be part of themselves. And it all started back when I was a financial advisor 25 years ago, recognizing that just by being part of education or a cause that I cared about, other people in my local buying community wanted to be part of that as well. So what I would tell people right now is if you're thinking about going into business or you're in business for yourself, any type of sales, like you talked about, life insurance, financial services, any type of consultative sales type of role, people can work with anybody. And what I want to say is this: don't think that giving substitutes for bad service and a bad product. You've got to have great service and a great product where you are the person, but then when you're also a giving person, it can explode your business and make people want to work with you. Sometimes just because they like the cause you're part of, they may change from another person because they want to be part of what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Birds of a feather flock together. People are going to want to, they're going to gravitate towards who they want to align themselves with. And very often in financial advisory positions, you get replaced very often. There's always someone trying to take your place. So if your clients don't align with you or they don't know you too well, that's an amazing way for people to get to know you better and to know you're a guy who cares. You're not just collecting a paycheck. Nobody wants a guy who's just collecting a paycheck, last to arrive and then first to leave, right? Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to work with a guy like that.
They don't. And, one of the things with money is, I think of money as a game that everybody can win. One of the things that I've learned is that it doesn't take you having to get your doctorate or to become a doctor or a nurse or an attorney or a CPA. Everybody has the tools to become wealthy. It's just a matter of, do they have access to those tools? And one of the reasons I wrote this book was I put together a 7-step, I call it the good money framework. And the point is, so many people think about, I'm going to start financial planning with how much money do I need for retirement and how much do I want for my kids' education and how much debt do I want to pay off, et cetera. And all of that's fine. But one thing we've learned with COVID and Omicron and all these things that people have gone through, and my heart goes out to people, is people are asking, is there more? And what am I doing this for? You think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that triangle that we all grow up knowing, and on the bottom is the basic food, shelter, water. And as you work way up the triangle, the top is typically enlightenment, fulfillment, meaning. But so many people think that that comes at the very end of their life. That's the goal they aspire to. But what if you had a plan or a strategy where you knew how to make more money in sales or your current salary job right now, and you were contributing to a cause you care deeply about, and you were feeling that meaningful moment every single day? I mean, how would that completely revolutionize your life? And that's what this book is all about, is starting with the generosity purpose. And then even, as I'll give another example, starting with just set 3 financial goals. Keep it super simple. On a sticky note, a note card, just write down the 3 things most important to you financially, and you stick it on your bathroom mirror. You see it every morning, every night. It's on your nightstand, it's in your car. And when you get laser focused and you work with professionals like yourself and other great advisors out there, now you're laser focused. You have clarity on exactly the bullseye you're going for. And oftentimes those other smaller goals tend to get handled as well. But if you say for yourself, look, I want to make $50,000 more this year in revenue. Well, now here's the problem I need to solve. Now it's just a matter of how do we solve that? And in the book, I talk about some case studies and examples of how people have done that, where they begin to realize, wow, it's not just complaining about how much money I'm making, but how do I really go in and actually make more money?
Wow. 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 You heard it here, you guys. Derrick, how can people find the book? How can people find you?
Yeah, so the book is Good Money Revolution. And Troy, it's been a real joy to be on your show today. You can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Right now, though, if you go to goodmoneyrevolutionbook.com, we've got $300 worth of free bonuses for people that order the book now. The book's just about to come out. I recorded 2 bonus courses. One is how to earn more, how to crush your debt, and how to save more. And the other course is how to get the raise you deserve now. And I think that might help put thousands of dollars in people's pockets right now. But we'd love to have you buy Good Money Revolution. I think it's going to be the new way for people to think about money for the next decade.
Very nice. Very nice, you guys. Derrick, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Hopefully we can get you on again in the future. It's been a real joy to have you on, and I'm sure our audience is going to extract a lot of valuable information, you guys. This is just a little piece of it, you guys. I had him on the show so you could see just what you get, but this is not even 5% of it. So you want more Derrick Kinney, you know where to find him. You got him on social media. Derrick, it's been a great pleasure. Derrick, how do they get you on Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, go to Derrick T. Kinney, Derrick, letter T as in Tom, Kinney, Kinney. Also on Facebook and LinkedIn is at Derrick Kinney. LinkedIn is really the best place. We drop bonus content every single day to help add value to where you are right now.
Very nice. Very nice. Derrick Kinney, you guys.
Hey, thanks, Troy. Great to be with you. Thank you.